welcome to the makeup chair. Today I'm going to be showing you my skin routine for applying my foundation. So the first thing you want to make sure is that your skin is clean. So I've used Skin Truth for cleansing, toning and moisturizing. And now I'm just going to make sure my hands are clean by using some antibacterial stuff. And I'm just going to add a little bit of moisturizer to my hands as well. Just the tiniest amount is fine. So I'm working first of all with a liquid foundation, and I use two foundations. I use Visible Lift by L'Oreal and I use a Rimmel one, and these are meant to be the same colour because they're both 100 Ivory, but this is a lot darker. If you are very pale like me, and a lot of Irish girls are quite pale because we don't get as much sun here, so this is a really good option because it's so super pale. It's perfect for our skin, and if your skin is slightly dry as well, it goes a little bit darker, so you're better off using one that's a little bit lighter. So I just apply a squirt of that onto the back of my hand and a tiny drop of this because it is a bit too dark. But you see, the thing is, the L'Oreal one, it's very creamy and it works really well on older skin, but just to give it some stability, I always put in a little bit of the Rimmel because the Rimmel is a slightly thicker consistency and it's also 16 hour. So I'm just going to start where I need it most. So that's on the side of the cheeks here because I get some redness on my cheeks. On the chin. And I'm always going in this kind of motion just to apply it, and then we're going to work in afterwards. I go a little bit underneath the nose because it tends to stay in the hairs in your face, and your normal hairs are here, along here, and the tops of your forehead above your eyebrows, and that's where most of the hairs are on the face, and they're only fine little tiny hairs, but it attaches to the makeup, and it can kind of make the face look kind of dry. And it goes a little bit darker in those areas as well. If you're applying around the eyes, you want to make sure you do it very gently. So I'm just patting it in around the eyes. To the forehead. Across the forehead I usually do in sweeping motions. Because I have a quite big forehead, so lots of room to cover. Okay, so now once we've applied everything, we're just going to go and we start blending. So I usually do it in motions downwards first, and then I do sweeping motions up and down like this. And you can either use like a stippling brush, which is like this, or you can just use your foundation brush. You can also use your fingertips if you want to apply it with your fingertips, that's fine, or a sponge. There's so many options when applying foundation. Now, I never was one for using a brush before, and then I found this brush, and it's by LOreal, and it's a foundation brush, and it was $4.99, and I said I would give it a go just to see what it was like, because I was never a big fan of using expensive brushes, but this was $4.99, so I tried it, and I really, really love it. Brushes, fingertips, sponges, it doesn't really matter what you use, whatever you're comfortable with and whatever gives you the best results, but I really love working with brushes now. I've really gotten into them. So around the eyes, I'm just going to pat it with my fingertips. Now, whenever I apply my foundation, it can kind of go streaky because of the natural brushes, or just like, you know, bringing it along, kind of making it look like lines across the face. So I always pat in, and I use my middle finger, ring finger when I'm doing around the eyes, middle finger because it can kind of do this motion, like this, and that's just going to help pat it in. It's just similar to what you do with a sponge, really. And this is why I moisturize my hands, because there's still going to be a little bit of moisturizer in my hands, so it's going to help the makeup to melt onto the face rather than sitting on it. When you're working around the eyes, you never want to pull it across here. That can cause the underneath of the eyes to kind of get puffy, and that's whenever I see somebody who has puffiness under their eyes, it's usually because they tend to like rub right across underneath their eyes, and that's what causes the puffiness. Now, for some people it's just inherited, but you know, you can stop it by just being very sensitive around that area. You want to make sure you go all the way up to the hairline and down the jaw. Now, I'm lucky that this foundation is pretty much exactly the same color as my neck, so I don't really have to worry about, you know, like the orange face and the white neck kind of thing. You really want to make sure that you blend in the creases of the nose. So once you've finished like applying the foundation and you've blended it in, you just want to make sure that you blend everything downwards, because it's going to help all the natural hairs in the face to lie flat. My makeup's been blended in, and next I'm going to move on to using some powder. So these are the powders that I'm going to be using. So this is Silk by Rimmel. I'm going to be using blusher balls by, who is this by? I just got them in pennies. It's by Primark. So I'm going to be using those, and they're really pretty. I'll show you in a second. And I'm going to be using Rimmel Bronzer. And I'm only using a small amount because I'm not a big fan of using too much bronzer, but I just find it just to thin the face off. So I'm first of all going to apply, just going to open all these up. First of all, I'm going to apply the brusher balls. Oops. And these are really, really pretty. I don't know if you can see those, but they're kind of pearly kind of color. They don't give a shine or a shimmer. They just have a nice pearl look to them. Like falling all over the place. And you have to keep this in here. This is the sponge that it came with, and if you just keep it in there, it's going to stop them from like rolling around in your bag. So I'm just going to put that in, swirl it around, because the balls in here are all different colors. This was about €2 to €4 or something. Just tap it off in the excess. Now for applying blush, even though this is kind of like a highlighter blush, but it still gives a little bit of color and it's very natural, I'm just going to smile first of all and hit the apple right here. So this is where the apple is. So for some people that could be higher, some people lower. Just hit the apple in the middle. And then you're going to bring it right up here to the top of the ear. So it's just a really great way of just remembering where you're going to be applying it. So after you've applied it, just go over that whole cheek area and chin. This is really great for people who have lines as well, because it doesn't have that kind of shiny, sparkly look that's just going to emphasize lines. It's just going to give a nice glow to the skin and a soft focus. And another thing that you can use if you don't like using powders is Makeup Soft Focus. And this is from Tesco's, and it's Barbara Daly's makeup, and it's absolutely beautiful. I talk about it all the time in my other videos. And you see it like that, it's just this pearly kind of color. So this is an alternative that you can use, and if you have slightly older, drier skin, use this instead of using the brusher balls. Move on to the bronzer. So I'm just going to apply a very small amount of this bronzer, and I use this on the four corners of my face because I have a square face. I have to kind of thin my face off because my face goes straight down like this. So I want to emphasize the cheekbones and kind of recede the jawline underneath the cheeks. So just this whole area here is bronzed, underneath there is bronzed, and then the tops of the temple as well. And I'm also going to do a tiny amount over the top part of the forehead. This is just going to make your forehead look shorter because I have quite a high forehead. Now I'm going to seal everything by using my Silk powder, and this is absolutely lovely. I absolutely love it. It's about €10 I'd say, which is quite expensive, but you get a really big pot of it because I bought something there for like half the price, and you really didn't get half the product, so there's a lot of product in here. I tip it out onto the lid like so, and just put a little bit in there, and then I put my brush in, swirl it around, and then I tap off the excess and it goes back into the lid so you're not losing it. So you're just gonna like brush over the face like really lightly. I'm using the same brush the whole time, but you can change over whatever brush that you like using. Now as you can see that I didn't actually use concealer throughout the entire video. I think that this gives enough coverage that you don't need concealer. It's also light enough so it does cover spots, and it's absolutely perfect for anything. It is slightly expensive, but you don't have to buy a concealer because it's all in there already. So there you go, that is my face routine, everything that I do on a regular basis. Now I don't do this every day because it's a lot of makeup to be putting on your face, but I would wear this if I was going out or for a special day or whatever, maybe once a week if I just want to look pretty. So that is my entire look. I'm so glad that you joined in and watched. I'm Sineadycady, and thanks for watching.